This is the future.
Week of January 2024. It was getting very cold in Delhi and of course in the NCR region. There's this company I can't name. They give devices to all their CXO level people. And one of their vice presidents got a message on a device that belonged to the company. The message was very, very exciting. It was from somebody called All India Impregnation Club. And the message said, look, there are so many of childless women in the country. They require children. So please become a member of our group, our club, and just give us two things. If you impregnate the woman, we'll give you 15 lakh rupees. If you don't impregnate the woman, no problem, we'll still give you 5 lakh rupees. But for doing that, you will have to buy our membership package of 20,000 rupees. So this vice president of this company, well, he doesn't have much to do, so he decides to make a payment for 20,000 so that he can be part of this impregnation exercise. Lo and behold, very quickly he realizes by the end of the day that there were roughly about 3.6 lakh rupees in his account. They've gone. Now, he is ashamed. He doesn't want to talk about it. Why? Because free sex and free money is a very deadly combination. And especially when you are the vice president of a company, talking about that is not going to be on. But with great hesitancy, he goes to the management and says, sir, this is what's happened. Now the management is in a query.
Sir, I have to give you one important message.
Okay.
Can I call you?
Please, sir.
There's an important message. Excuse me. One second.
Question is, at the end of the day, the company now is in a quandary. Quandary is, shall it report, shall it not report? Now, why is this entire exercise happening? First and foremost, you realize that the vice president of the company has become a victim of a data attack, a breach. The devices of the company, but the data belongs there to the individual. The device has been breached. The money has gone out of the individual person's data account. And lo and behold, you realize that the company is still struggling in its board, in its management, what to do. Because if it reports, it'll have to report that its vice president was trying to be a part of the All India Impregnation Club. If it doesn't report, it actually becomes an offense. And the reporting has to be done within 6 hours. And the 6 hours have yet to pass by. I will pause it at here. Now, this particular example is a practical challenge that companies are facing today. I want to pause. I want to go on to another case study. And then let's discuss both of these together. In the second case study, this pertains to ChatGPT. Anybody in the room who's not on ChatGPT? Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 4, okay. So for logging on to OpenAI, you have to open an account or you have to give an email account. 95% of Indians choose their own personal names when they give their email accounts. So there is this page 3 personality, a Casanova, who's known for his womanizing approach. And he decides to go to ChatGPT with his own name. And he has a peculiar problem. His problem in life is, and he wants to have an answer. And he says, I have got 7 girlfriends. The girlfriends' names are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all names given. And I don't know how to manage them simultaneously. So can you give me a girlfriend management plan? So ChatGPT grants a girlfriend management plan, and he starts implementing it. Somebody in the office comes to know that he's done something on ChatGPT. So they go back to ChatGPT and says, here is Mr. X. And he's got a lot of girlfriends. We don't know his girlfriends. Could you name the girlfriends? The entire 7 names of the girlfriends get popped on. And then it gets displayed. Now, these two are diverse examples, but to tell you that these 2 examples are going to give us some key learnings. Why first and foremost, we are in the data economy age. If in India, I'm touching any of the 7 raw materials, use of computers, computer systems, computer networks, computer resources, communication devices, as also data and information in the electronic form, I get covered under the Indian cyber law. Why do I need to be bothered about cyber law? It's a 24-year-old legislation. Why should I be bothered? It was only a law meant for promoting e-commerce or for promoting electronic governance. Well, you are bang on target, except the law got amended once in 2008, except that the law provided secondary legislation powers to the government, except that the government has from time to time been now coming up with new rules and regulations. Began with regulations in 2001, then 2011, and then finally on 25th of February 2021, and then this got amended as late as 6th of April 2023. Now, in case in India, if you're dealing with third-party data, then you are actually going to be dealing with fire. Now, coming back to the first case, the breach has taken place on a device that belongs to the company. So technically, it's a cybersecurity breach or a personal data breach on that device. Is the company obliged to report? Anyone? Yes, supposed to report. Why? This is thanks to the 28th June 2022 notification of the Indian government, which basically says, these are known as the IT Directions 2022. They say, the moment you come to know of a cybersecurity breach, please report within 6 hours. You don't report, no problem. You automatically have committed an offense, punishable with 1 year's imprisonment and fine. Which means what? Which means that you can be prosecuted for the next 7 years at any point of time by the government, should they want to go ahead. So the moment the golden hour of 6 hours pass, you automatically commit the offense if you don't report. Okay? I'm still beginning to think about this. So should I report or not? Most of the board said, please don't report. My reputation is at stake. My share value will fall down. I will not be seen as a reliable company. But more significantly, my reputation and goodwill could be impacted. Now, if this is to happen, and this is happening in January 2024, there's now a new added dimension. Why? Because come 11th of August 2023, and the government of India has now passed this new legislation called the Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023. Good news, it's not yet in force. Not so good news, it's already the law of the land. Why am I concerned? Because if you don't comply with this law, just be prepared for some loose change in your pocket. What's the loose change range? Ranging from 50 crore rupees to 250 crore rupees. These are unprecedented fines that have been stipulated under the DPDP Act. Okay? To whom does the fine go? The fine does not go to the complainant. The fine goes to the government of India. So it will have to be put in as part of the receipts to the Consolidated Fund of India. So what happens if you don't pay the government of India? No problem. A file gets made, and you don't know when and how this is going to be taken off. But yes, this will be considered as arrears of land revenue. So once it's considered as arrears of land revenue, the government will have the right under law to recover it at any point of time, including selling your assets, the assets of your companies, and a variety of other stuff. So suddenly I realize that when I'm now in India, I'm actually being exposed to various radiations from different levels. One is a cyber law radiation, which is my duties under the cyber law. Two, the radiation for cyber crime. Yes, India doesn't have a cyber crime law, but still, various cyber crimes are given under the IT Act and under the Indian Penal Code. Third radiation from cybersecurity. Hold on, India doesn't have a law on cybersecurity. No problem. We have the IT Directions 2022, and these are going to be pretty much very, very overpowering, all-encompassing. Why? Because you don't comply, you commit an offense, period. Now, then you keep on waiting your days when your luck runs out and when prosecution goes against you. And number four, the fourth radiation comes from the Digital Personal Data Protection Act, not yet implemented, but rules and regulations currently being made by the government, and minimum entry-level fine, 10,000. To whom? To a data principal like you and me. I don't perform my duties, no problem. I can be fined up to 10,000. As a company, as an organization, I don't comply, no problem. A complaint can be made by anyone. It will have to be adjudicating by a statutory authority known as the Data Protection Board of India. And it will have the power to grant damages, or shall I say penalty or fine, from 50 crore rupees to 250 crore rupees. But hold on, there's a slip between the cup and the lip. The slip is that when somebody complains against you, don't think that's the end of the life. Why? Because the law is now provided for alternate dispute resolution. You can still go for mediation. You can still try to settle. And if you settle early outside, maybe you don't get exposed to fine. So it's a very complicated mess of things that we are currently working in. Now, we in India love to subscribe to the Indian Jugaad school of management. We love Jugaad. And we feel that we can always do Jugaad at any point of time. Little do we realize that in the electronic ecosystem, you cannot do Jugaad. Why? The moment I do Jugaad, I create false electronic records. That comes under forgery. So I commit an offense under section 468 of the Indian Penal Code. If it's for cheating, 7 years imprisonment and fine. If I'm only doing Jugaad for harming somebody's reputation, slightly less, 3 years imprisonment under section 469 of the Indian Penal Code. So if this is a scenario, where do we as a company lie? That's a question that a company is going to ask. And I think here, by and large, one of the leading trends that's coming up is that we will have to start going behind the Suraksha Kavach that the law is providing to us. Almost any company in the country, barring those companies who don't do the electronic format, are going to be covered under this new category known as an intermediary under section 21W of the IT Act. Now you will say an intermediary is maybe an Airtel, a Vodafone, a Bharti, or whatever. But your company, mind you, also becomes an intermediary. Why? Let's close our eyes and see what section 21W IT Act says. Intermediary with respect to any particular electronic record means any person who on behalf of another person is receiving, storing, or transmitting that record or providing any services with respect to that record. And includes network service providers, internet service providers, web hosting companies, online auction portals, online payment sites, cyber cafes, search engines, and online marketplaces. Tell me any company which is in India, which is not, which is in the electronic ecosystem, who would not qualify as a network service provider. Any company will have third-party data, employee data. You automatically become an intermediary. Now, the moment I have my employee data, I am now going to be stuck into these new compliances under the Digital Personal Data Protection Act or the DPDP Act. A lot of people are complaining, look, we haven't gone the GDPR way. We've gone our own way. This is not going to be that effective. Well, for the first time, if you have fines up to 250 crore rupees, all organizations have begun to start taking notice. Though still now, a majority of organizations are saying, hold on, let's wait for the rules. Let's see how they come. Then we'll start complying. Some smaller companies are saying, no, let's start broadly complying with the parameters. As and when it gets notified, I will be in a much better state of compliance. So bottom line is, I'm not a soothsayer. I can't predict when you're going to be sued. But I definitely see a trend on the horizon, post-COVID-19, which is that a tsunami of litigation is coming in for every company. I can't predict you when you are going to be sued, at what point of time. But the day you're going to be sued, that's the day if you wake up, it's too late because, well, the cat is out of the bag. So therefore, the law is saying, come back to the Suraksha Kavach. Remember in Mahabharata, you have the Gita discourse. Lord Krishna has one central message in Mahabharata, in the Gita discourse. He tells Arjun, hey Arjun, come to my Sharan, and I will protect you. The Information Technology Act 2006 has exactly the same message. Hey intermediary, come inside my ambit, comply with my parameters, and I promise you two things. You can't be sent to jail. I promise you, you cannot be forced to pay 1 rupee damages by way of compensation. So what is the law giving you? A statutory exemption from legal liability. I think there'll be increasing need for organizations to go ahead and try to get behind this statutory exemption from legal liability, because I can't predict when I'm going to be sued. I'm going to be sued by an errant employee, a potential customer, a potential competitor, and maybe a third party. And whosoever sues me, under the DPDP Act, it's even more simple. All they need to do is a complaint and forget about it. The complaint is going to be registered under the Data Protection Board when it comes, and then, lo and behold, a new process starts. So I'm trying to say that the only key parameters that today I believe is topical are compliances, due diligence, care, and caution. I don't think there's anything beyond this. Now you will say, you're not talking rocket science. Yes, you're not talking rocket science. But the more the laws get complicated, the more it becomes simpler on how you can potentially try to protect yourself from exposure to legal liability. And now if you're using AI, well, lawsuits have begun in the US, where they have begun to start suing AI companies. Hey guys, you have actually infringed my copyright because you have trained your language model algorithms on my copyrighted data, and lo and behold, you pay me damages. Those are going to be sub judice. And let's wait how the law evolves. But the law is getting very clear. I am still not ready to give the status of inventor to artificial intelligence, which means there's this company who has come up with a new product, a new invention that's been created by AI, and they've applied for jurisdictions and across the country, across the world, for patents. Almost every jurisdiction is telling them, sir, sorry, we can't grant this patent to you because according to us, artificial intelligence is not an inventor. For invention, you will require to have human intervention. So in a scenario like this, we'll have to wait and watch a lot of things. But let's remember three key things. Number one, post-COVID-19, the golden age of cybercrime has begun. And this is going to be with us for the next many decades. Number two, economies, organizations, individuals will keep on bleeding. Recent report, February 2024, of the government agency tells us, last year, Indians just lost 7,488.6 crore rupees due to online financial frauds. That's a government figure, not mine. According to me, the minimum actual figure could be 10 times the reported figure. But if this is the way things are happening, look at what's globally happening. As per one estimate that they found out that by the end of 2022, the world lost more than $6 trillion to cybercrimes and online financial frauds. They've said by the end of 2023, the world has already lost $8 trillion. And by the end of 2024, we should be losing more than $10 trillion to cybercrime and online financial frauds. So in this ecosystem, therefore, cybercrimes will have to be our daily companion. Therefore, compliances will have to be our only way as you go forward. Let's not keep on riding on our luck for a long period of time. Maybe you are lucky. Maybe nothing happens to you for the rest of your life. But all it's going to take is one legal action for you to potentially be wiped out of potential operation. Your reputation, goodwill, standing, repute is all going to go for a potential 6. And that's the reason I'm saying, guys, please carry this umbrella. It's about to rain, the storm has come in, carry this umbrella, carry that rain suit. The rain suit is compliances. If you do that, then to a large extent, you are going to be relatively safe. There's no guarantees that you'll be absolutely safe, but you'll have relative safety vis-a-vis your potential exposure. And finally, let's now also realize that it's not stopping here. The government of India is in the process of now coming up with a new legislation called the Digital India Act. They're saying we'll try to cover artificial intelligence therein. We'd like to cover all elements pertaining to the entire digital nation. So there'll be new focus areas, new legislations, but more than new legislations, it will be secondary legislation that will be ultimately impacting organizations like yours and mine. And therefore, the best thing will be, let's wake up from our slumber. Let's not ride on our lucks. Let's realize that the cyber law is a special law. Section 81 of the IT Act says it's a law, it's a special law, and it prevails over anything inconsistent therewith contained in any other law for the time being in force. Any conflict between any other law, including the DPDP Act and the IT Act prevails over everything, barring portions for personal data for which the DPDP Act is going to prevail. So all said and done, the idea is not to scare you, but idea is to ask yourself, how can I prevent myself from going to jail? Now, once a company commits an offense or a contravention, Section 85 IT Act says, no problem. If a company commits an offense, every person responsible for the day-to-day running of affairs of the company or management of its activities shall also be deemed to be guilty of the offense and shall be liable to be punished accordingly. So, the company can't be sent to jail, but people can be sent to jail. So the CXO level people, they have to tighten their belts because they are going to be increasingly facing potential criminal exposure. And now let me share a new trend. Today when we are suing people on behalf of clients. So we sue companies, no problem. But a new trend has started emerging where we start suing the CXO level people by name. So rather than Mr. ABC, who is the CEO of this company, we will sue Mr. ABC as a defendant, so that in the event the litigation continues, Mr. ABC will have to keep on fighting the litigation at his own personal level because of the personal liability that's been given under the law. So it's a very, very strange world. It's hard to predict where we are going to go. But yes, one thing is very sure. Somebody is going to fall. Whosoever falls, I don't know. But one person falling could be a collective falling of a community as well. So therefore, capacity building, I believe, has to be the topmost priority. Yes, we don't normally give that information or importance to capacity building, but I think the time has come. A few years back, I started an experiment. I created a platform called cyberlawuniversity.com. I put in 37 courses online. I said, I'm into cyber law. Who is interested in cyber law? Let me put it and forget about it. 5 years down the line, I'm surprised. These courses have already been done by more than 30,000 professionals from 176 countries speaking 54 national languages. A small figure that's going to tell why the importance of cyber security or cyber law or cyber crime, capacity building becomes of topmost priority. So at the end of the day, please enjoy your times, have a wonderful time. But for the CXO level people, please have some window at the back of your mind. There could be a possibility that you could go to jail. Therefore, your topmost priority is protect your back, avoid going yourself to jail, and of course, avoid your organization from being exposed to fines up to 250 crore rupees per contravention, not totally. So 4 contraventions, 1,000 crores. It's a very interesting space. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Books you have published on cybersecurity?
Sir, I have 199. That's what all. That's because I write 1 hour every day in the morning for the last 28 years. So over a period of time, it's 199. So I try to contribute to this jurisprudence. Thank you.